What's going on, everybody? My name's Austin Ariel. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome to my channel. Today I have what is my favorite SUV ever made, probably, and everybody has their own opinion, but this is the Genesis GV70. This is the 3.5T Sport Prestige trim. That is a mouthful, but this is one hell of an SUV, and you get a whole lot of car for $65,000. And today, I'm going to walk you through it. I've borrowed this Genesis GV70 from Ed Voiles Hyundai Genesis here in Smyrna, Georgia. You guys should be familiar with it if you've seen my other Genesis or Hyundai videos. This is no different. So a big thank you to Reid and his team, because they're the ones that made this happen. There's a huge shortage of vehicles right now, and I am incredibly lucky to even get my hands on this. So again, big shout out to them, and I'm going to link them in the description below. So starting off, we're going to start off with the front. So you have Genesis new quad LED headlights. This is something that they are actually known for now. This is their design language that they have come into. You have it here. Down at the bottom, you are going to have this cladding here. It is plastic, but it is this matte finish. And over here, it is actually an opening for brake cooling and for aerodynamic purposes. You do have front parking sensors here, and let's talk about this grille. So it's a dark chrome finish. This is their G Matrix grille that you'll find on their G80, their G70, their facelifted one, their GV80, and now the GV70. You have this Genesis badge up here, which is actually pretty big, and I love that the creases on the hood flow out from the wings on the Genesis badge. Now, down here, you've got your radar cruise control brick. You are gonna have your more front parking sensors, gloss black down here, and the whole grille is actually open. So everything here is open to feed this twin turbo V6. You do have a front camera, and you will have side view cameras as well. But overall, I am just in love with this design of this SUV. I'm gonna be completely honest, guys. I am 100% biased towards this SUV. I have been longing to review this SUV ever since it debuted for the Korean market. So I am incredibly flattered by this thing. So I'm just gonna put that out there. The wheel set here is gonna be a 21-inch wheel. And yes, I said 21 inches on an SUV, a compact SUV at that. You got the Genesis badging in the middle on the center cap, which is nice. I love this color. It's a gloss, kind of dark graphite color, and I love these little etches in the actual wheel itself. It's a really cool design pattern. Audi is well known for that, especially in their RS models, especially the RS6, and I'm glad that Genesis incorporates it in the design of this GV80. It is wrapped in Michelin tires, so you should have a really good driving experience on this thing. In the back, you're going to notice the quad LED design language follows all the way back here. It's really cool. So you do have quad LEDs for the brake lights and your running lights and your turn signals. GV70 in chrome letters, Genesis emblazoned all the way across. You got your all-wheel drive badge and your 3.5T badge in the back here as well. You do have this large plastic, I don't know if this is plastic actually, don't quote me on that, but it's this matte black trim piece that surrounds the exhaust, and then you have this finish rear valence down here, or diffuser. Rear diffuser, let's go with diffuser. This is a sport model, so this design might be specific to the sport model only, so make note of that. But look at these exhaust tips, dual chrome exhaust tips. They are massive, they look really nice, and you do have your reflector piece integrated nicely right below the trunk lid, which is also nice. And then just make note, the release for the actual tailgate is actually built into the wiper. So you just simply press that and it opens up. Once you're ready to get into the back of the GV70, you're going to notice you have quite a bit of space here. So you can put, God knows how many, probably about 2 or 3 sets of golf clubs. You've got some accessories back here. You've got metal, stainless steel here, which is really, really nice. You've got pockets on the right-hand side. You're going to have this 12-volt power outlet. You're going to have these levers here to release the second row seats if you want. You're going to have that on both sides. LED interior lighting. And then make note, even the tie-down areas, the little anchors, are in metal. The lengths they went to, it's crazy. Underneath here, you are going to notice that nothing but storage as an option. And look at that little Genesis pouch. Just really, really neat. So we're in the GV70, and the interior is very similar to other Genesis offerings, so I'm gonna make it quick. So you do have this 14.5-inch infotainment screen. It is a touch screen, but you can also control it from this knob. You do have this 3D digital gauge cluster, which is really, really nice, with blind spot view monitor on both sides. In addition to that, you're going to notice everything down here is haptic feedback. So every time you press, you do get a vibration. The temperature gauges are actually going to be physical knobs. And then you do have this fingerprint scanner for you to actually access the vehicle if you don't have your actual key, which is nuts. So start stop button, it's not physically textured, but this is a smooth surface, but you have that kind of gradient underneath it. And then the whole dash is going to be wrapped in leather. It's really nice contrast stitching, and you have this really, really nice metal finish that wraps around this black area right here. It just looks absolutely incredible. I love it to death. Now, dual zone climate controls, heated cooled seats. You have that on this model. You've got a heated steering wheel as well. Down here, you are going to have your parking sensor button, your drive mode select. So you can see here, snow, eco, comfort, sport. And if you put it in sport plus, it'll actually boost the amount of engine noise that actually comes into the vehicle, which is cool. So it really gives you that extra sense of sportiness here. Down here with the volume knob, turn that down real quick. This has a very, very, very good weight to it, and it is actual real metal, and it is kind of rough in texture, so that way you have good grip on it. Same thing with the tuning. I don't even know what to call these. They're not knobs, but whatever you guys want to call them, buttons, switches, knobs, whatever, they feel incredible, and they're heavily weighted. You've got your buttons here to control the infotainment system, all in this metal finish. So everything that you see in this car is genuine in terms of material. So just make note of that. Down here, these two knobs are going to be crystal and or glass. So this is the shifter, so you can turn it to go between drive, neutral, reverse. You press the P for park, and you do have auto hold as well. And this you can twist, and it can control the infotainment system if you want it to. And you can also ride on top of it if you want to quote unquote ride a destination. This door here, you press it, releases it. You got your fast charge wireless charging pad for your phone. And then you get your fast charge USBs in there. And then you have two cup holders, which is nice. And then the actual steering wheel itself, leather wrapped, perforated. You do have these pedal shifters. You've got all these buttons here. And this whole actual piece is a whole button, to be honest. But it is a touch interface nonetheless. And you have these same little dials on the steering wheel, which is really nice too. Still metal and finish. Leather wrapped airbag cover. The Genesis logo is metal, feels kind of metal, might be plastic, I don't know. It just feels really good and looks even better. Satin finish here on the bottom of the steering wheel. I am surprised they didn't go flat bottom with it, but not a deal breaker. And don't forget, you do have a heads up display that you can see there. And if you're wondering about the 3D gauge cluster, it's not going to show up on film, but just look here. That's going to be a sensor that monitors your eyes for not only the self-driving features of the car, but also for the 3D gauge clusters, so it knows when to activate. But let's take a look at everything else in the interior. You can see the actual door finish. You've got that metal finish, and you've got metal all on the speaker grills. You've got it on the door handle, and that is genuine carbon fiber. You get genuine carbon fiber on this model, which is incredible. Storage down there with a cup holder, and you do have an additional speaker grill for this Lexicon sound system. You can see the door card here for the driver's side. It just looks incredible. You can see all the switch gear and buttons here in metal. You see this little G matrix gradient that they use, and the power folding mirror button in the middle. Memory seats, of course. And then look at this. Leather with Alcantara inserts. And you've got all these adjustments for the seats, and it is finished with the satin metal kind of an outline. And then you do have massaging seats in this car as well. And then you can see here that G matrix pattern goes on the lumbar support, which is just really, really nice. I just really like the attention to detail here. The steering wheel is going to be power operated. You are going to have your automatic rain sensing windshield wipers, automatic LED headlights, auto leveling, all that jazz. You're going to have ambient lighting, which you can see show up here, and then you can see your idle stop and go switch there, and then of course your illumination, your traction control, your electronic parking brake, and your button for the power tailgate. So I'm in the back of the GV70, and you can see I've got more than enough headroom. I've got more than enough leg room, and honestly, the seats are really comfortable. I love the Alcantara inserts. Just gives it that essence of luxury and sportiness, which is really, really nice. And honestly, I've got plenty of room back here, and I'm 5'9", so I think you'll really enjoy it. In the back seat, you're going to notice the leather and Alcantara goes back here. Carbon fiber on the door sill again. You've got the window shades, which is nice. Full panoramic sunroof, which is really pretty. And yes, that headliner is an Alcantara suede material. You're going to notice buttons on the passenger side seat there, so you can actually move it forward if you need to. Totally up to you if you are a rear passenger. And then you have your vents for the rear, ambient lighting, and the rear seats are also going to be heated, and they have their own climate controls back here with the digital display. You are going to have a household style outlet, and you're going to have your fast charge USBs down here as well. So it's really, really well equipped back here in the Genesis GV70. And don't forget, you've got levers here as well. So if you want to change the decline of the seat or fold them flat, you can do exactly that. One little Easter egg that I found is right here on this pillar. You notice you got a little hanger hook here for all the businessmen and women who are going to own these cars. You can see it right there, and it looks really cool, and it's just chilling on this pillar, which is also decked out in that Alcantara. All right, the moment we've all been waiting for, and by we, I mean me, because I am super excited to drive this thing. The Genesis GV70. This is probably my most highly anticipated SUV that I've ever wanted to drive, and I've wanted to drive plenty of them, and the reason being is this vehicle looks, I'll go as far to say, 3 times the price point. You know, you look at an Aston Martin DBX, you know, Bentley Bentayga, things like that. This car emulates that exact design philosophy. It looks very European in nature, and it looks absolutely incredible. I mean, they just knocked it out of the park with the design of this car, and I am so stoked that I can actually drive it. You know, this is a true treat, and not everybody can even get their hands on one of these. So let's talk numbers while I'm going through the parking lot. So this car, you've got the big 3.5 twin turbo V6, okay? Not a 3.3 V6 like the G70, because remember, the G70, a lot of the research and development happened alongside the Stinger. So technically that's old technology. But this is their 3.5 liter twin turbo V6. You've got 375 horsepower, okay? 391 pound-feet of torque in this thing. Rated or mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. I mean, this thing is just crazy, absolutely crazy. And first things first, I'm gonna say they got the steering perfect. The steering is way more athletic in this car than it is in the GV80, and I love that. They did not let that go under the radar. So you can tell that they really wanted to put the performance aspect into this SUV. It is smaller, it's lighter, it's probably gonna be more nimble than the GV80, and that's what I'm here to find out. I'm very curious about how it's gonna put the power down, considering this is an all-wheel drive model. Whew. Oh, yeah, this is great. This SUV has more power than my Stinger, which is awesome. And honestly, they probably weigh the exact same, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, man, I'm so excited for this. This 3D gauge cluster, I really wish it would show up on camera, but it just doesn't. But this 3D gauge cluster, whoever approved that at Genesis, you're a madman, because this thing is so cool. I know I lusted over it in the GV80 video, but it just doesn't get old, right? It really doesn't. But man, it's very quiet in here. I will say on this model, this is the sport model, the suspension is pretty firm and everything is really, really tight. So For those wanting a more comfortable drive, I'm sure there's other trim levels that might suit you, but this one, this is nice. This one is going to be suited for those who want that sportier drive. This is quick. Oh my goodness. The steering is very, very direct, very heavily weighted, more weighted than the steering in my Stinger. And I can tell it's speed dependent as well. Ooh, missed that pothole too. But holy cow, was not expecting that. Was not expecting that. Oh my goodness. Visibility is actually pretty good, considering smaller SUVs like this typically can lack some of that just because they don't have enough space to get rid of some blind spots. But overall, fantastic. Build quality, I'm not even gonna lie, I've been in some very, very nice cars, and this can hang with every bit of the best. The German 3, Audi, Mercedes, and BMW, you should be worried. This car will give them a run for their money. I'm willing to put money on that. That is a bet that I'm willing to make. This car at $65,000 can hang with the best of them. I really mean that. Between features, design, which design, that's everybody's opinion, but I'm just gonna speak for myself. I love the way they designed this car inside and out. It looks very clean, very, very modern. I mean, it's just beautiful. Now, as far as drivability goes, this sport model, I can tell, like, this thing is definitely geared for a sporty drive. So some other models will definitely be geared for those who want a little bit more comfort, but this is still really comfortable. The seats are nice. You've got that massaging function, which I'm actually going to put on now because that's actually really nice. I'm going to put whole body stretching, but you have that feature in this car as well, which is nice. So it definitely helps for those longer drives. But let me just tell you, the power delivery, oh my goodness, this is fun. And this is just sport mode. It's not Sport Plus. It is not Sport Plus. Oh my goodness. Definitely not Sport Plus. I'm actually a little nervous to put in Sport Plus, but this is not a front wheel drive biased car. This is a rear wheel drive platform, okay? And because this has that all wheel drive, you know, it can put engine torque and brake power to each individual wheel that needs to. Pretty common amongst a lot of all-wheel drive systems, but this is just sweet because you can actually do so much with this car. I feel like you can literally, you could probably, this is going to be a stretch, a very, very big stretch, but I'm pretty sure you could probably take this on the track and have some fun with it. I really feel like you could. I would. There's a decent bit of traffic right now, so I'm not really like going too crazy with it, but once I turn down this road, give it a little bit of some juice and see how it goes. One thing I'm gonna make note of is the camera system that's in this one for the blind spot view monitor. It's actually a little bit higher quality than some of the other blind spot view monitors that the Hyundai Kia Genesis group uses in some of their economy branded vehicles. So I'm happy to see that they gave better quality cameras on this car. But man, all the material quality in this thing is just fantastic. You don't hear a single creak. I mean, the build quality is just, oh wow, I'm blown away, and I'm smitten by this SUV because I've wanted to see this SUV in person ever since it was introduced in the Korean market. But man, this lives up to every single aspect of the hype. I mean, it is fantastic. I'm actually gonna be really sad to get back into my Stinger now, but man, this thing is just absolutely fantastic. And I am so excited for the Genesis brand because they're going to be doing some great things with their cars. Now, one thing I will say, the engine note is pretty muffled in this car. I would have liked to hear a little bit more. Oh my goodness. This thing has got the beans. This has got some power. Holy cow. Wow. Alright, I'll be brave. Let's plus mode. Oh, you definitely hear more exhaust there. It's still not, it's not super, super loud, but it's enough to get you a little excited there. The shifts are pretty quick in this. I would say it's maybe marginally above average for the industry, which is nice. Wow. It just keeps wanting more. There's a little bit of body roll. I'm noticing that, so when you get into a turn, you can definitely tell that this is an SUV, and I think it also goes in part because of the 21-inch wheels, which don't help. But overall, you've got really good confidence when you drive this thing, even in a spirited manner. Brakes are good. They feel nice. They're firm. They're pretty direct. They're not too jumpy. And overall, it stops the car pretty quickly, I gotta say. But overall, I think driving impressions wise, first impressions, which are typically the most raw, this thing can hand it to a lot. I mean, this is going to be a dangerous vehicle for Genesis, because right now there's a car shortage because of the computer chip shortage, and people are going to gobble these things up. Wow. This is a dangerous SUV for Genesis. A very dangerous one. And this is even more dangerous for competitors. A lot of people are sleeping on Genesis, but you just can't do that right now. I mean, this is the brand to look at because they are doing some crazy things. This thing just feels incredible. Wow. So before I get too repetitious, I want to thank you guys. If you're returning back to my channel, or if you're new to the channel, give it a thumbs up if you like the video. And if you feel the need to, definitely subscribe if you want to see my other reviews or future reviews that I put out. So in saying that, a big shout out to Ed Voiles Hyundai Genesis. The link is going to be in the description below for this vehicle and for many others that they have on the lot. Inventory is diminishing, so act pretty quick if you can. And if you can find a vehicle, grab it, because it's not going to be there for long. So in saying that, I'll see you guys on the next review.